Also, Asia Wilson is not playing in Unrivaled, much like Caitlin Clark's not. But there's been a story surfaced by way of Sports Business Journal that is baffling, and it is getting absolutely crushed right now.
Did you witness the recent events in women's basketball? You may be wondering, who says no to that kind of money when Caitlin Clark declined a $1 million offer? But hold on, things get even more intriguing. Soon after, A.A. Wilson stepped in and made sure everyone knew she had received an even greater offer. At this point, you're probably wondering what's actually going on and whether there's something more significant going on behind the scenes.
But it is delusional to believe that Asia Wilson would have been paid more than Caitlin Clark. And the only people that could possibly believe that are sources close to Asia Wilson.
They weren't playing around. This was their chance to sign the biggest star in women's basketball, and they went all out. You might be asking, who turns down $1 million? Well, Caitlin Clark just did the unmatched thing when she came knocking with a deal. Most players only dream about big money and the opportunity to change the game.
And it has also been reported that Unrivaled 3-on-3 League offered Caitlin Clark significant equity in the league and a salary that is over $1 million. So this is the first time that we've heard of any money being thrown at her. We've heard that it would be a major deal. It would be a similar setup as to what Messi got, but this is the first time that we're hearing anything about money. So obviously it is going to be in the millions.
However, this is where things start to get interesting. No, Clark replied. Why would the sport's most popular name turn down this fantastic opportunity? Let's examine what Unrivaled offered, as it went beyond simply signing her pals and offering Clark an opportunity to play with her college teammates. They also teamed up with her favorite brands to make sure she would feel completely at home.
They have announced Lexi Hall, Kate Martin, and Aaliyah Boston. Now, before this, we had not heard of any Indiana Fever players playing in Unrivaled, and I was kind of under the impression that nobody from the team was going to play in this league.
You see, Clark isn't only considering the upcoming season or the next big paycheck. She's playing the long game. That's who she is, and her decision wasn't about the money.
He said, we're always going to have a roster spot for Caitlin Clark. We are not applying a full court press the way people think. We are letting her decompress from basketball. She knows that we have a spot for her when she's ready.
After a great collegiate career, can you blame Clark for wanting to take a break from basketball to take stock of her accomplishments and prepare for her WNBA future? She's not just jumping into the next big thing. She's making sure she's prepared for it.
With sources saying it was 100% her decision and that perhaps she will observe the league from a distance this winter and later sign a 2026 contract. And then I like this quote, actually. In fact, one well-regarded WNBA team executive said, Unrivaled will help the players who sign up. I love it, and I think it's exactly what we need until the WNBA becomes more than a form.
Now, you may be wondering what happens if the top player declines. Well, that's where things get very interesting. They put everything they had in the Caitlin Clark basket, but Clark had other ideas.
Basketball has really consumed my life for a year, so I feel like it'll be good for me to kind of reflect back on everything that's happened. I feel like I didn't even have time to really reflect on my college career because it ended so fast, and then I came here and was trying to give everything I could to this team and kind of move on and put all that behind me and help this team, get back to the playoffs. So I feel like taking some time to myself and really enjoying that and reflecting back.
This involves a change of power rather than just one person declining an offer. Clark demonstrated that athletes can take charge of their careers by putting their personal objectives ahead of immediate financial gain. She is establishing a new benchmark for athletes' past management.
But Caitlin Clark, the pursuit of her was, of course, the biggest story around the league. And one of the lead investors said bringing her in would be the single biggest possible thing.
And let's face it, nobody can stop talking about this move. Fans are complimenting Clark's dedication and humility, viewing her as a true leader who is thinking beyond the next game or season. Clark isn't just playing basketball, she's also transforming the way the game is played off the court.
Well, no amount of pulling in Kate Martin, Lexi Hall, or agreeing to State Farm sponsorships.
That's the million-dollar question. What comes next? One thing is certain. Caitlin Clark changed the game. and we're all waiting to see what she'll do next. The basketball community is watching intently, wondering if this is the beginning of a new era in women's sports, while Unrivaled is left scrambling to figure out their next move. Remember how unmatched scrambling well Caitlin Clark left, but they weren't the only ones taking action. A.A. Wilson chose to take center stage, and her timing couldn't have been more dubious. Was this a coincidence or a power move? Wilson's team revealed, only hours after Clark's $1 million refusal made headlines, that Unrivaled had made Wilson an even bigger offer than Clark. Can you believe it? It's as if they were saying, "Oh, you think $1 million is a lot? Well, get a load of this."
And it was like, oh, she's a shooting star. She's a phenom. She drew the people in.
However, the timing of her statement caused many people to raise their eyebrows. It seemed as though she was telling them, hey, don't forget about me. I'm a big deal too. Fans also began to see a noticeable contrast between Clark and Wilson's approaches to the situation. Clark made her choice discreetly and without fanfare. She didn't have to announce that she had been offered $1 million. She simply declined and moved on.
This story smells like bullshit. Now, we all know Caitlin Clark turned the league down, right? Well, this source close to A'ja Wilson is claiming they offered A'ja Wilson more money than Caitlin Clark to play in this league.
However, Wilson made sure that everyone was aware of her choice. It seemed as though she wanted to play the lead in a drama that wasn't even about her. Can you picture the tension in a room with them both at this moment?
Clark turned it down. A'ja just honestly likes to rest her body. She doesn't want to play year-round. And she's an outlier where just on pure basketball, it's a 3-on-3 league. It's not a 5-on-5 league. And it wasn't a great fit for her. But
this isn't the first time A.A. Wilson has sparked controversy. For instance, when she debuted her Nike trainers, it wasn't just about some awesome shoes. It became a full-fledged drama that infuriated fans, who accused her of postponing the releases of other players' shoes in order to gain attention. Can you believe that?
Quote, I believe they offered more than Caitlin Clark because I know what they offered A'ja. They have a lot of money, and they offered her a lot of money. And I was even like, oh, you sure you don't want to do this? But I also understand that she really values the offseason. That's where she has risen her game. And it talks about the fact that when she comes back from the offseason, that she's better. A'ja Wilson's better at her game.
A.A. made an effort to act calm while discussing how much fun it was to create her shoe, saying it was both a lot of work and a lot of joy. It's crazy because I'm like, I want the thing that goes the thing, and my amazing team is trying to put my strange words into a shoe. They say, okay, we got it, but the fans weren't buying it because they thought she was just trying to make everything about her again. But wait, it gets even worse. Remember that winning isn't for everyone. Ad campaigns talk about bad timing. It seems that A.A. was inviting disaster when she said that just before her club, the Aces, was completely destroyed by the Liberty in the playoffs.
it almost comes across like A'ja wanted it out there that she was going to get more because of all the attention Clark received. And I got news for you. Unrivaled is not dumb enough to have offered A'ja Wilson more than Caitlin Clark, unless they just thought that it was a sure guarantee she would take it, right? But either way, it doesn't compute.
Social media exploded. People were roasting AA left and right. One fan even joked winning may not be for everyone, including AA. Wilson herself. Ouch, that's got to sting. You might be thinking, is AA doing this on purpose? Is she trying to stir up drama? It's hard to say. But one thing's for sure, she knows how to keep people talking about her. It's like she can't help but be at the center of every controversy in women's basketball. The basketball world was buzzing, but not in the way Unrivaled hoped. Instead of talking about their exciting new league, everyone was focused on these two superstars turning them down. And now people are wondering what went wrong. How did Unrivaled big plans fall apart so quickly? Because without Caitlin Clark, the only place these ratings are going is directly in the pooper. One thing's for sure, this whole situation has exposed some serious cracks in Unrivaled strategy. They put all their eggs in two baskets and both baskets said no. Thanks, now they're left trying to pick up the pieces and figure out what to do next. But with all this drama, will anyone even care about their league anymore?
according to sports business reporter Ethan Strauss. He reports Nike wants to prioritize A'ja Wilson, and it fears the optics of giving a rookie a signature shoe before an already established star who just won league MVP for the third time.
Unmatched huge ambitions for women's basketball are rapidly falling apart, and they are losing faith in signing. Can you believe they didn't even have a backup plan? Caitlin Clark and A'ja Wilson's decision to say no backfired catastrophically, and now the league is struggling to stay relevant before they've ever played a game.
It's over. Obviously, this is a completely memeable offense, but the winning isn't for everybody, and then they go and it's the first time they lose. Like you release a winning isn't for everyone commercial.
The league's social media presence abruptly changed from exciting to embarrassing, revealing how ill-prepared they were for this setback. Fans are posing difficult queries, such as how Unrivaled can continue to exist with its top stars and whether anyone will even want to watch the games going forward.
Because the ratings are not going to be good for this thing. I mean, as soon as you count out Caitlin Clark, it's a wrap. All right, I don't know how you can have an Angel Reese on every single team, and it's not going to do any good. I mean, we saw that.
This isn't just Unraw's issue anymore. Everyone is questioning if the league's co-founders, Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier, can fulfill their lofty promises of rich contracts and player-friendly schedules. Fans are criticizing Unrivaled for its deceptive advertising strategies, claiming that the league is using Clark to boost its profile while only profiting on the excitement without providing anything meaningful.
Now, look, guys, if that happened, we want to talk about this league having been doomed and DOA because Caitlin Clark's not going to play in it, nobody's going to watch.
The world of women's basketball will undoubtedly never be the same after this, and we're all watching to see what happens next. But something tells me there are still more surprises in store. Can you believe what Caitlin Clark just did? She turned down a $1 million deal, and it's upending the entire women's basketball game. Clark's decision wasn't about the money at all. Rather, it was about her long-term goals and the impact she can have on the sport. This move is setting a new standard for how players can manage their careers. Fans are adoring Clark's strategy and applauding her dedication and humility, viewing her as a true leader who isn't only interested in celebrity or money. She's demonstrating to everyone what true success in women's basketball looks like, even while the league's greatest name outperforms her.
If this financially is run this poorly, and they don't understand marketing, they don't understand ratings this badly, whether it's somebody with TNT Sports or the league or both, this league is hell. I don't. What's worse than being dead on arrival? I don't know what it could be, but this would be the dumbest decision ever.
However, keep in mind that AA is where things become truly fascinating. Wilson's response immediately following Clark's choice. Wilson made sure that everyone was aware of her generous offer, which came off as quite different from Clark's reserved demeanor. This difference between the two revealed a larger problem in women's sports. Now that everyone is waiting to see how this will impact women's basketball in the future, it's not just about how well you play anymore. It's also about your personal brand and your influence off the court. Clark's choice is women's basketball players are realizing they can be the ones making decisions and putting their long-term objectives ahead of their immediate ones, which is altering the power dynamics in the sport and how players, fans, and even leagues view the sport.
Somebody said there's a section of Caitlin Clark fans that would have watched Unrivaled without her being a part of it, and they're risking turning those people off. Someone else said she's been used and her fans since she stepped foot in the W. That just doesn't stop. LOL, they know who brings in views and puts asses in seats.
It's exciting to consider how this might change the sport in the years to come. What do you think? Are we witnessing the beginning of a new era in women's basketball? One thing is certain, the game is evolving. And Clark just demonstrated to everyone that players have more control than ever before. Can you believe what Caitlin Clark just did? She didn't simply turn down a $1 million deal. Instead, she completely changed the game. Clark's decision wasn't about the money. Rather, it was about taking charge of her own destiny. She demonstrated to everyone that players can make the decisions for women's basketball.
We'll see how Unrivaled does. Without Caitlin Clark, they could still succeed, but we know what it would have meant if they had secured her on one of those.
Think about it. This could be the pivotal moment we've all been anticipating. Clark's action might encourage other athletes to take control of their careers. More athletes may start putting their long-term objectives ahead of short-term financial gain. It seems as though Clark just opened the door, and now everyone is wondering who else will enter. What do you think? Will more players follow Clark's example, or is this the beginning of a new era in women's basketball? One thing is certain, though, the game is evolving, and Clark just demonstrated to us that players have the ability to influence the direction of women's sports. The players now have the ball in their court, and we are eager to see what comes next.
There is no universe from a popularity and a draw standpoint where she is worth more than Caitlin Clark. It's not even close. It's not even in the same ballpark. It's not on the same planet. And that's not to be disrespectful. That's just based on the metrics, the numbers, the attendance, the ratings, any way you can measure any of these things.